But you are convinced that because Trump or Biden or Harris or somebody told you they're going to raise the corporate tax rate, you feel good inside because, damn it, Amazon's finally going to pay their thing. No, what's going to happen is this medium-sized business is going to get hit with a tax hike. They're going to shut down. Amazon's now going to take that over, still paying $0, and now everyone loses because loopholes. Why is it that no politicians will talk about the loopholes that allow this to happen?
Bear gang till I die, ho. Swooped up the homies and we about to start a sideshow.
When it comes to the debate, there's a few things investors want to look at. Number one, if the chances of Trump doing better in the debate, meaning the polls close in, there's a better chance that he stays president. From an investment standpoint, regardless of politics, from an investment standpoint, you want to see normalcy, right? You want to see stability, okay? What are futures? So what futures are is this is basically people guessing what the opening of the market is going to be, right? If they think the market's going to be up tomorrow and then we're going to have a good day tomorrow, they purchase contracts that it's going to expire at up, and obviously on the opposite of down. When you say, well, Trump isn't stability, well, understood that it doesn't feel like he's a stable guy, but you kind of know what you're getting, right? So as we started seeing Trump win, which is a very messed up way of doing it, but of saying it, winning the debate, we saw futures start to rise, right? When he first went nuts, we saw it right here from 910 to 915, this area right here, we saw it run up, right? And then when Joe Biden said, I don't support the new Green Deal, we saw the market go back up. So we actually saw the market spike, the futures market spike twice, once on Trump and once on Biden. Now, you're probably asking yourself, Stocky, why the hell would the market go up if Biden said he doesn't support the Green New Deal? Well, the Green New Deal, some of the things that it encompasses are taxes, carbon taxes on businesses and corporations, carbon taxes on people, lowering carbon footprints. And while that's good for society and the earth and that, from a business standpoint, if you're investing in the growth of a company, you don't, that worries you, right? So that's why we saw the market go up when he said, do you support the Green New Deal? No, I don't support the Green New Deal. So then investors say, well, shit, if he does become president, we don't have to worry about all these carbon taxes. All in, boys. Okay? So that's kind of why we saw that. Now, one of the things they both talked about was corporate taxes, right? There's always this idea about corporate taxes, right? People always say, well, we need to raise corporate taxes. Well, that sounds good on paper, and here's the problem though. That's right, late night whiteboard, boys. Okay? Late night whiteboard. So there's good and bad, right? So when you say I'm going to raise corporate taxes, okay, from whatever percent to whatever percent. Now, normally this sounds good, right? You're going to tell a corporation like Amazon, who paid almost zero in tax, we're going to raise your corporate tax. Well, this is why it doesn't really work it works in theory, but not in practicality. If corporate tax is already, let's say, at 21%, how the fuck is Amazon paying 0%? So if we raise corporate taxes to 28%, how much do you think Amazon's going to pay? So now, who actually pays the corporate tax? Smaller companies pay that corporate tax. Okay, you have to either A, find a way to close the loophole. See, that's what they don't talk about. Remember how I told you guys that no matter who is running for president, nothing changes? They're going to tell you what you want to hear, but in the backroom deals, nothing changes. You think that Biden or Trump or any of those guys are getting elected by their own money and your money that you're donating? No, it's corporate donors. They're not going to screw over their corporate daddies. They will tell you they're going to raise corporate taxes by 5 to 10%. And that gets you to vote for them. But at the end of the day, the big corporations that you think are going to pay aren't paying anything. They're not paying anything. Now the question becomes, where does that money go? You're going to believe that the government's going to say, we're going to take that $70 billion and we're going to dump it into affordable housing, schools, etc. That's what you think's going to happen. But who is in charge of spending that money? Do we know? No, we don't know who's going to be in charge of spending that money. And on top of that, do we get an audit of where all that $70 billion went? Have you guys ever found out where your whatever tax, where that money went to and how it was allocated? No, you just believe that that's where it went. This is why I have a hard time with this. So unless people know where that money's going, a lot of times they're voting off of feelings. But back to the original point, this is what people don't get. Everyone wants to believe that their guy or what they're being told is the truth. When in reality, if the corporate tax rate is 21% and Amazon paid $0 in taxes, it doesn't matter if you raise that to 30% or 40%, these guys are not going to pay any money. Your small businesses, small to medium businesses, are the ones that are going to pay more taxes. So at the end of the day, who gets hurt? Okay, not the people you think it is, but you are convinced that because Trump or Biden or Harris or somebody told you they're going to raise the corporate tax rate, you feel good inside because, damn it, Amazon's finally going to pay their thing. No, what's going to happen is this medium-sized business is going to get hit with a tax hike. They're going to shut down. Amazon's now going to take that over, still paying $0, and now everyone loses because loopholes. Why is it that no politicians will talk about the loopholes that allow this to happen? I'm not out here sounding like Bernie Sanders. I'm giving you facts. I'm not telling you how to do it. I'm not telling you who's good and who's bad. I'm telling you facts. Everything I've just said is factual. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm telling you how this works in the real world. Loopholes are not illegal. I never said they were illegal. I said, how are they going to get rid of them? That's all I'm getting at. I'm just letting you guys know how this works. Then you can take that information and make a judgment call yourself. I'm not telling you what to believe or how to believe. I'm not telling you to go out and people riot in front of Amazon's headquarters. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm also not telling you to go give a massage to Bezos in a back room somewhere. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just letting you know. That's my point. My point is to give you information and allow you to make up your own mind. I'm not one of these people out here trying to tell you what to believe or to tell you what to think. I'm just trying to give you information that you can then use to make your own decisions. That's how the world should work. Now, let's bring this back to the debate. So, what do we know? Yesterday, during the debate, your boys, we're talking about vehicles, okay? They were talking about vehicles. Now, presidents usually like to make a big deal about American jobs, right? Now, for those of you guys who aren't aware, during the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, okay, we had a continuation of World War II, okay? The baby boom generation. Manufacturing was what brought this country to the high and above cost, average cost of living or average living per capita, per person, everything. So in the 50s, in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, manufacturing was king. Okay, the United States was exporting so much shit. Now, a lot of this had to start with the World War II, right? We got out of the Great Recession, the Great Depression. We had World War II. We were pumping out stuff, right? We were pumping out tanks, and we were pumping out vehicles. We were pumping out planes, right? Well, we had a continuation of that. We realized we were really good at doing this. We were really good at pumping out and manufacturing shit and selling it to other countries. Okay? We were really good at that. So we're like, you know what? Let's continue to do this. So what are one of the things that the 50s, 60s, and 70s saw? Okay, what do you always hear about? Okay, cars. Okay, highway infrastructure became a thing around the world, in the United States and all around the world. There were better roads, there were more roads, there were more people traveling. All of a sudden, instead of people, having to travel by train from city to city, okay, they were driving in cars, and that allowed more and more little towns to pop up, and there were more roads that were done connecting, and you just saw this huge super highway infrastructure thing put in place. Right now, more people are driving, more cars are being made. Well, guess what? A lot of people, look at Detroit. Detroit used to be the mecca in the United States for people to make money. Everyone moved to Detroit to get in the car factory, and you were making $50,000 per year. Fun fact, you're still making that in America because of wages, but in the 1970s, 1980s, you were making $50,000 per year with a pension. So and back then, the cost of living was so good, everyone was able to buy a house, okay, and be married and have 2 or 3 kids and a girlfriend and a drinking problem, okay, and a cigarette, okay. This was the American dream, okay. That was the American dream, and everyone had that because of manufacturing in this country. But then things changed. We went from an exporter to an importer. So now, instead of manufacturing vehicles and giving it to people all over the world, we're now, as American consumers, wanting to buy cheaper products. Well, who provides the cheaper vehicles? Well, guess what? The Asians with Toyota, okay, Mitsubishi, etc., okay, started making cheaper vehicles, better gas mileage, cheaper to repair and maintain, and started importing those. And that is what killed the car manufacturing in the United States. All right. Now, why is it you always hear presidents talk about bringing back businesses and cars and manufacturers, especially on the right side, the conservative side of the political spectrum? Because all those people who vote, because young people don't vote. Let's just be honest with ourselves. 18 to 30 years old have the worst voting turnout in anyone in the world. But who has the higher turnout? The older people. When did those older people live? When did they work? Where did they make their money? So when you say you want to bring back all those jobs in manufacturing and cars and whatnot, you're pulling and you're talking to and you are trying to sway over those people. You want to give them back the glory days, or you want to remind them of what they had and that the American dream is still alive. We just need to bring it back. No, the world has changed. But when you're trying to run for office, you want to go after the people that are voting, and older people vote. Okay? All right? Now, on top of that, why was it big last night? Well, instead of always saying, we're going to bring back Ford and we're going to bring Detroit back and we're going to bring back these jobs, he basically said, and he flipped the switch and said, yeah, I'm a fan of electric vehicles. I think they're doing great things. I support them. Now, all of a sudden, all the people who were worried that he was going to kill electric vehicle stuff to keep that boomer shit going were like, oh, fuck. We got him, boys. And that's why we saw the electric vehicle sector pop today. Is it funny how you can put those pieces together to kind of figure out what's going on? Now, we talked about this last night during the debate that this was going to go up. Also, fun fact, we were watching futures last night during the debate, and we could tell, I don't care what the polling thing says, we could tell who was quote unquote winning the debate, or at least what policies were being implemented or talked about that were a fan based on futures. When Joe Biden, what did he say last night? Does anybody remember what he said? I do not support, remember? The Green New Deal. Okay? Now, that hurt a lot of his constituency and all that stuff. But why would the market go up after he said that? Does anyone know why the market popped after he said that? Because what is one of the major factors of the Green New Deal? Okay? I'm not discussing the morality of this, the politics of it, whether this is good, bad, the how it impacts in society. I'm talking about strictly from a financial and economical standpoint. Okay? So if both people on that stage could be president and both of them are against this, the market likes that, because that means businesses, okay, large corporations, and like I said, I'm not talking about the morality of this or the right or wrong of it. I'm talking about strictly from a objective standpoint, okay? What we're talking about here is that these corporations were potentially going to have to pay $70 to $100 billion per year on the high end in carbon taxes. But now that they know that both of these people don't support this, the chances of this happening are almost zero, meaning investors are like, fuck yeah, that's $100 billion more the company can do whatever with. And so we saw a spike. That's how these things play out. Because Because when you're an investor, you like stability. You like knowing what's happening. You want to feel like your money's safe. Why do you think most people don't invest in the stock market? Well, the real reason most people don't invest in the stock market is they don't know about it. They don't know about it. B, they're misinformed. But of the people who do know about the stock market, why do 99% of them not invest in it? The ones that have leftover money. The ones who have money and know about the stock market, why do 99% of them not invest in the stock market? They're scared. Everyone thinks that the moment they invest, they're going to be the guy who bought before the dip. But as you've seen on this channel 100 times over, the guy who bought at the top and it dropped, he's made money. And if he DCA'd like you should be DCAing, he's made 200% since the 2008 recession. One of my mods in here, I've already told you guys this 100 times, one of my mods in here bought on February 20th. He watched me for 2 years and bought on February 20th. 4 days later, this happened. And guess what? He DCA'd and he's still up 33% for the year. 33% for the year. Do you know how much money you make in your bank account? 0.00026%. So let me ask you something. If you had $10,000, okay? You made $2.60 in interest this year. You didn't lose any money other than the 3% you lost in inflation. But if you had $10,000 in and you bought, you have $13,300. Now, I don't know about you, but if somebody said, do you want $13,300 or $10,002, which one would you want? So how to pay almost $0 in taxes. Number one, live in a state with no state tax. Okay? A state that has no state tax. So for example, I live in Florida. I pay 0 state tax. Okay? In some states, they pay as much as 7 or 8%. Imagine if you could keep 7 to 8% of your money every year. So let's say you make $100,000 a year. Okay? All right? You're going to pay $7,000 a year in state taxes. That's gone. Okay? Not to mention federal taxes, where you're going to be paying between 20 to 24% depending on your bracket, right? So you're talking 30, 31% is gone, okay? So live in a state with no state taxes. I live in Florida, no state taxes. Okay? Number two, open an LLC, a limited liability company, corporation, whatever you want to call it. Okay? Why is this important? Well, when you open your LLC, you then make it an S Corp. Number three, write-offs. Now, remember, everything I'm telling you here, you have to do legitimately, okay? Now, any payments you make for being self-employed, you pay yourself through that LLC, okay? Now, when you have that LLC, you make sure that you purchase things, especially things you don't really need, but that are technically business expenses, to drive down the amount of profit you make. Okay? So, if your business entails, having a truck to move stuff, buy yourself a truck, okay? All right? I'm not saying you're going to get rich off of this. I'm telling you how to not pay taxes. There's a big difference, okay? Business expenses. But number four, okay, you funnel through here, not funnel. You put your money through this. You have lots of write-offs and business expenses. But can I tell you, number four, you won't believe number four. Overpay your CPA. I've seen more people go out there and try and nickel and dime their ass for CPAs. You get what you pay for. You get what you pay for. Okay? If you want to nickel and dime, it's like nickel and dime in a lawyer. Okay? Nickel and dime and go get yourself a cheap lawyer. But don't expect the best results. Go nickel and dime your CPA and try to cut corners and find the cheapest one, and then the one that you do find, try and get them to get it. Go ahead and do that. See how much effort and how much they're going to tell you. They hold the secret to your entire existence in taxes. Or sleep with them. I don't know. Whatever you have to do. So, live in a state with no income tax. Open an LLC. Okay? Have everything funneled through the LLC as an S corp. Have a ton of write-offs, business expenses, but most importantly is number 4. I cannot tell you how much of a joke and dead fucking serious I am with number 4. You want to be best friends with 3 people in your life. 4 people in your life. A doctor, a lawyer, a mechanic, and a CPA. If you only have 4 friends in your life, make sure they're those 4 things. Because those are the 4 people that are going to get you through life a hell of a lot better without. Not your wife. I mean, she's in the top 5. I'm talking about, like, if you think I'm joking about this, okay, I'm not. That, ladies and gentlemen, is how you pay almost nothing in taxes as a non-politician, as a non-mafia member, and as a non-corrupt official. So I'm gonna basically break down the map, okay? Okay, everybody knows where all this is. Iran, right? Okay, I just want to make sure we're all in the same thing here. Okay, Georgia. Okay, we basically know our Middle East, right? Okay, there's 2 countries here. Okay? There's 2 countries in this very strategic area. Okay? Very strategic place. You've got Armenia and you got Azerbaijan. Okay? So, if you want to do anything through land, you got to go through one of these 2 countries. Okay? I mean, well, technically, Georgia's there too, but regardless. Okay? So, basically, these 2 countries have been in a Cold War-like state for a long time, right? They really don't like each other, okay? They really don't like each other, all right? And they've been like US and Russia was back in the 70s and 80s, except for in this case, they're right next to each other, right? Well, a plane was shot down, okay? A jet was shot down. So now there are tensions, and there are major tensions going on right now. And now this is going from a Cold War to kind of a lukewarm, possibly a hot war. A hot war means actual conflict. Well, normally, what does that mean? Does that mean much? Well, yeah, it means something. But in this case, it's a big deal because you have Turkey backing one person or one country, and you have Russia backing the other one. Okay? So, why is this a big deal? Why is it a big deal if Russia is backing one and Turkey's backing the other? Okay? The reason is because this country, big boys, and very big on oil, okay? This country, big boys on the other side, also in charge of a lot of oil. Now, if this were to escalate, let's say these guys get into war, and all of a sudden these guys are giving them money. These guys are giving them money. These guys are giving them weapons. These guys are giving them weapons. Now, what happens if it actually gets more of an escalation? And we have ground forces between this country and this country. Does anybody know what big organization Turkey's part of? Does anyone else know any other countries in NATO? All of you guys. Okay? So, this is getting really confusing board here. So, the issue becomes, now we're not saying that it's going to escalate to this point, but there is always the possibility of potential, sanctions, because we're not going to go to war. We're not going to go to nuclear war over this. Sanctions and other things that could affect economies. But more importantly, what are the 2 things that are affected the most by war in that region? Defense stocks, not drugs and hookers. No, that's Eastern Europe. This is not Eastern Europe. All right. So defense stocks. I just put DFEN because that's the ETF. This is the defense stock ETF. Okay. If it continues to escalate, we could see this continue to go up, because the idea is that if we start supplying stuff to our NATO allies, okay, companies that manufacture that infrastructure and those weapons, missiles, whatever systems you want to talk about, make money. And if they make money, investors get in. And if investors get in and the stock goes up, ETFs move up. Now, I'm saying you can pick individual stocks if this escalates, but that's the ETF overall. Also, that entire region, remember how we saw that there was these two oceans, right? And you got Russia over here and you got Turkey over here. What's something that goes through here? Oil. Lots and lots of pipelines and oil. So, if there is any type of sabotage where this is, or there is shutdowns, then guess what you get a momentary spike in? Oil. How do you get ahead of these situations if you're an investor? Okay. Outside of selling arms directly to rebels. Okay. Defend stocks. And if it escalates further, you could see tension, momentary spike in oil. Even though oil's at complete lows right now and nobody's buying oil, any type of disruption causes a potential supply issue, and then you see a momentary spike. Invest in water slides? No. Fund the IRA? No. Become a gun runner? No. This is why we can't have nice things. It's exactly why we can't have nice things.